I watch your eyes fill up like a well. I got designer weed upon scale. I got these bitches wondering where I'm at. I got the police trying to find a trail. I got this money passing through the thorns. I got these niggas mad and I can tell. I got the juice, I thought I told you that. I miss the gin and I never spill. You got me fucked up talking like that. That's the type of shit that get you killed. That's the type of shit that get your mama duct tape. Fuck the story, this for real.
Welcome to the next episode of Bottom of the Bay. Today we got a special guest, somebody that I'm actually very, very fond of. I love his music. I peeped him from a few people from Redwood City. Now I got him on the couch today to speak to everybody. Mr. Tommy Hilfiger, how you doing, bro?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Sure,
Yeah.
Hey, bro, so what's up with the name? Is it Tommy Hilfiger or is it Tom?
I'm glad you asked. It's Tum. And let me give you a little bit of a backstory as to what that really signifies for me. So I actually came up as a kid just really into graffiti. I was like my passion as a kid. I wanted to be an artist and I wanted to, be the one up on them walls and doing all that sick shit. But a big part of that when you kind of get into the culture is there's a thing called black books, and these artists carry around black books and they make their own character, they do their own tags in these black books, and you share black books with other artists and they'll tag up yours, you tag up theirs. I had my buddy, he goes by Castro, but he has this character that was named Tongue Boy, and I was small, so I was just kind of jocking, and I heard Tongue Boy, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna jock your shit and I'm gonna just name my character Tongue. So I had this character and I just draw him everywhere. He's actually on my little cap right now. You see him on the 650 sweater. But I would draw him everywhere. And I knew I liked making rap music, and I didn't want to be someone that was like, oh, like, what the hell is my rap name going to be? Like, so I just stuck with Tum because it was what I had been using for years prior. But I was trying to think of like, how am I going to make this, work like rap wise? So it's actually an acronym. Most people don't know that, but it actually stands for the underrated Mexican, TUM. So it's Tub.
I told my little brother the other day, was Tommy Hilfiger last night. He said, his name is Tommy Hilfiger. He said, dog, I'll give him one thing. That name is fire. I said, I know, man. I heard it, I couldn't believe it. Okay, that's what's up, man. All right, so let's get a bit of history, man. So
Sure.
Where are you from and what school did you go to?
I was born and raised Redwood City. You talking like high school and whatnot?
Like,
I went to Woodside.
Woodside?
Went to Woodside, yeah.
Okay, I know a lot of people. Okay. Were you born and raised here?
I was, yeah. Second generation in Redwood City. My mom was actually born in Redwood and grew up here as a child. And I just happened to be blessed enough to be born here as well.
So, what are your musical influences? What makes you want to be an MC?
Oof. I'm about to give you a little more backstory on this. All right, so it's funny enough, like I was actually really sheltered as a kid. Like my parents, like my dad, he immigrated here from Mexico and he was just in the streets his whole life, so he really didn't want me to be in the streets at all. So they tried their best to like shelter me from stuff. So when I first heard rap music, I was like 10, and I was just shocked. I was like, these guys have these big ass chains, and they got all the cars and all the girls, and I'm like, you guys are getting paid millions of dollars to just say bad words. So I was like, I want to get paid millions to say bad words. Like I like saying bad words. So that's how it started. And I think around this time, like what was popping was like them Franchise Boys and like Soldier Boy, and I was like, this shit is ass. Like I could write a better song than this. Like I know I can. So I just put the pen to the paper at like 10, wrote my first raps and whatnot. But I would say what motivates me the most is not a particular like MC or anything like that. It's more so just wanting to prove that I'm better than other people doing it. And it sounds kind of conceited, I know. But I think it's just that drive and that hunger to want to be the best that really makes artists be great. And that's what motivates me, is just trying to be the best at what I do.
Okay. So who was actually the first few rappers that you heard when you first heard it?
It was 50 Cent, PIMP. I could hear it in my head. I was in 5th grade. My homies like had this CD player. And then after that, my other homie put me on game, and I was listening to nothing but Dipset and Jim Jones, Cameron, Joel Santana, all them. And I was on that heavy throughout like middle school. And then, like it was like 2004, 2005. So the hyphy era, of course, a lot of Mr. Fab, a lot of Mac Dre, E40, Keep the Sneak, like all just I just kind of soak in game from everywhere. I feel like all there's so many subgenres in rap that you can kind of listen to so and so, take pieces, and everybody has some game they can give you potentially, you know.
So when you mention everybody you just named that you influenced and that you listened to growing up, though, music don't sound nothing like that.
No.
Nothing like the 50 Cent. Maybe hints of like the Dipset, like the dark, hard, sludgy beats that sound like you're dragging a cat down the alley or some shit. But that style you have is more of the style we used to hear from like 2010
Mm-hmm.
to now.
Mm-hmm.
So where does that musical sound come from?
For me, what I was struggling with, like I said, I started writing raps when I was 10, and like I think most like other artists can attest to this too. Like when you're 10 years old, like you have zero life experience, right? So I was over here like rapping about like fucking hoes and like making it rain at the strip club. I'm 10 years old. I've never done this before. So as I grew and I was like, I want my music to reflect what I'm actually living. So at the time, like I was, I'm not proud of it, but I was selling drugs. I was doing drugs, and I think at around that point in time, what was popping was like Schoolboy Q, like Oxymoron, Danny Brown, Flatbush Zombies, and that sort of like realm for like, oh, like you don't have to rap about being the drug seller. You could also rap about being a drug consumer, and it influenced the beats in these sort of dark melodic ways. And I gravitate to that sort of dark sound. So it's like, oh, this is kind of like a niche that reflects what I'm kind of going through in life right now. And I think that sound really influenced.
Now we get
I think
into
the two of them kind of influenced each other. Like the lifestyle influenced the music, and the music kind of influenced the lifestyle at the same time.
okay. So that makes sense. Now, see, now that makes sense. So did that, because I consider you a lyricist, bro. Like when I hear you spit, it's like you one of those people where it's like, dog, just keep rapping. When you stop, it's like, man, I know you have more to spit. So where did the you taking it serious, like to really dig into each bar? These bars don't sound like you wrote this shit in 5 minutes. Maybe you did, but
Sometimes.
what made you want to be a lyricist?
I think just and I was listening to a lot of Eminem as a kid. I remember me and my little cousin Chris, we used to like try to freestyle to each other as kids, and he'd always tell me, he's all like, bro, like you're gonna get signed to Shady one day. You're gonna be on Aftermath, bro. And I was like, as a kid, I'm like, yeah, for sure, for sure. But that's sort of like, yeah, that wanting to be the best, and I think I take notes from people like an Eminem who just like fantastic lyricist, or I don't know. Until like I said, like I just take bits and pieces from everything. Like there's just so much to soak in, and it just influenced me to yeah kind of construct the bars in a way. I think a big thing for me was like I said, the whole like them franchise boys, soldier boy sort of era, where it was like I could write something better than this, and I'm gonna prove it to you. And I've always wanted to make that point clear. Like not only can I write you, this flow right here that's fire, but there's like a fucking quadruple entendre in that shit, and I'm tying it back to this old reference from this, and it's just like a puzzle. It's just a lot of fun, a lot of creativity that goes behind it, and it's I don't know, it's just fun.
Shout out to you for that, man. Lyricists don't get a lot of fucking respect for that extra little everything they put into a verse and shit. So I just want to be, I acknowledge that kind of shit.
Thank
All
you.
right, man. So, what would you say is something that Redwood City helped you to become like the artist that you are? What inspired you from Redwood City? Like, what about this city? Because you rep it hard,
I
and it
do.
is a beautiful city, but I just want to know a little bit more about it.
It's a great question. I think the culture really, I guess, is what the kind of the culture behind the city. Like I think it's not it's not a big huge city like a San Francisco or like an Oakland where you can kind of go and do fun shit downtown. Like all everyone really kind of does out here is just kind of smoke weed and shit and kind of kick back and chill. And I feel like I kind of give that sort of chill, laid back, sort of Redwood City smoke culture sort of vibe. but um, but yeah, I do rep it hard. I think a lot of that has to do a bit with just trying to make a name really like in the city. I think a big thing for me was always trying to kind of showcase my individualism and kind of almost like disassociate myself in a way and be like, no, I'm not just like I'm Tom, I'm not this Redwood City representative, I'm just my own singular unit. But I think as I've grown and just kind of grown to embrace, just like the love I get out here, the fellow artistry or artists that are out here, and we're all kind of collab and whatnot, and it's just I don't know, it's a beautiful thing, and it's really kind of helped kind of ground me, if that makes sense.
You try to shy away from it, and then eventually it starts showing
Pulled
some
me
love.
back,
Show asking.
pulled me back.
That's what's up, man. Have you ever heard of a producer called Big Head from LA?
Yeah, he did all the little pump stuff.
I
No,
feel like
it's
you
like
and
big
him
head on the
would make
beat.
the perfect EP, dog. 8
That would be
songs.
sick.
I don't know what it is, bro, but every time I hear you, I be like, bro, you and fat. Is it Big Head or Fat Head?
I think it's big head.
It's Big Head, Fat Head. So
I think I'm almost positive I follow him on
I think
Instagram.
y'all would make a perfect EP like on some Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist type shit.
That album, those couple they have are fire. Like Cocaine Pinata, fire. Fucking. Oh wait, no, that's the Madlib one. The Alchemist one was the Alfredo joint. No, yep. But they just dropped the other one. Yeah, Freddie Gibbs another one. Mad lyrical talent. Super super intricate, crazy flows. Yeah, shout out to Freddie Gibbs.
So I listen to your music quite often, bro, and I just want to get into a few things about your music.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
You a father?
I am. Yes.
Man, that's one thing.
Yes.
Like I appreciate when people put that, that being a father shit in their music, man. So we give you that one. And
Thank you.
the other thing is you're very transparent in your fucking music, man.
I try to be.
And when I say transparent, you know what I'm talking about. So what made you say, fuck it, I'm gonna just drop my nuts on the table and just keep it real? I feel like I'm walking through an everyday life thing with you, bro.
I think one thing I've always wanted to showcase with my music, growing up, I felt that rappers in particular were kind of put in this sort of box where it was like, oh, like you're a gangster rapper, so you got to make gangster rap music. Oh, like you're an R&B crooner, you got to make that kind of music. So I always kind of make music with the idea of like I'm not just this gimmick. I'm a well-rounded person. So my music's gonna have all these different layers, and I'm gonna tell you, about the past and how that is affecting my present and where I want that to go in the future as well. But yeah, I'd be talking shit though. definitely, definitely gotta drop my nuts on these motherfuckers. Let them know like yo, I'm the shit. Like y'all fucking gotta catch up to me. And like if you listen to the music, I think objectively speaking, if you're not a hater, but you can agree, come see me or run some laps.
What's a hidden talent or a skill that people wouldn't expect?
Wouldn't expect. Oof. I don't know. I feel yeah. Luckily the audience doesn't know me that much, but I'm actually a fairly talented artist, I would say. You probably garnered that from like the whole Black Book discussion earlier, but yeah, I tend to draw a lot. I used to customize sneakers in high school to make money, so you might have bought a pair of sneakers from me, or you might have known somebody that did at some point.
You do your own logo and shit?
I did, yeah, everything. I make my own covers. I yeah, record myself. I mix and master all my own shit, which you might be able to tell because I know the mix is not always the best. But
Wait, you engineer, that's all you? Just straight raw, you don't send it to your mix and masters. Okay. Well, that's what I mean by like you have that grunginess,
that raw.
2015 and 17 grunginess that like that's dog. I'm an older guy. That's my favorite era of music. So it's like when I hear certain stuff, it's like, yeah. All right, for sure, man. So what's next for you, bro? You dropped the album. It's called "Miss Me When I'm Gone."
It's, They Gonna Love Me When I'm Gone.
They Gonna Love Me When I'm Gone. How many tracks on there?
I believe it's 18. It's a long one, but it's about 3 years it took me to write the whole thing. So I'm pretty proud of it. I kind of went into with the mentality of like if I die today type shit. Like I want this to be like the greatest thing I've ever made in my life, and I want that to like be showcased, and hence the title. I was like, once I think like Rest in Peace Takeoff, for example. Like I felt as soon as somebody passed, everybody get their flowers, and I think I've always kind of had this chip on my shoulder where it's like, oh, like I don't feel like I get my flowers, but I know that I'm gonna drop something that's so hot that once I inevitably pass, like y'all gotta give me my flowers, like because it's that dope. But oh, go ahead. Oh, I was listening.
So, do you get flack for saying nigga in your music?
I don't. I've wondered that honestly as well. I realize that it's kind of a controversial thing. I think as far as like in the Bay Area, I've been blessed to have grown around, black folks, brown folks, Chinese folks. Like just such a huge mixing pot that I think at this point it's kind of like been integrated into just almost like a social economic sort of thing. It's not really like it's, and I don't want to like take away from like the negativity of it, but it's almost to me like it's become more than like a racial sort of thing. It's become this word that is used among people that grow up in the hood, and it's just kind of like gets used. And I was never really told anything by any of my friends saying it because they were all cool with it. But I definitely think about that, like, oh, like to the listener, like in Texas or like I don't know, even around here, like I'm sure it offends some people. And I do want to say, like, if my music offends you, I do apologize.
Hey,
I
don't
think that
no apology tour.
no, not that. I'm just saying.
Anyway, next question.
No, I'm just saying, like, take it for what it is. I think you and I could interact, and I'm not fucking racist. It's just what gets said out here, and it gets used in the music. And I think it's more racist for me to pretend that I don't say it, and you catch me saying it. Like that's some out of pocket shit. But if I'm just like, it's in the music, you know me, and kind of come to know me, then I think it becomes a bit more acceptable. Hopefully, others agree.
Okay. All right, you plan on doing any more visuals and videos?
I'm glad you asked. I have ideas. I think for me, a big thing for me is just almost a bit of shyness. To be honest, I don't really like being in front of the camera. I don't like being that like person that's recognizable in the street because just the way I grew up and the shit I've seen. Like you don't really want to be that popular person. You want to be that person that's more in the cuts. So I feel like the less you see my face, the better. This is actually my first interview, so I'm pretty excited about this. So I'll show my face to y'all. But yeah, shout out to you, man, for getting me out here. But I do have some ideas. I hope to put them down on some stuff, just as like little side art projects and whatnot. At least for me or for my fans to kind of enjoy. But definitely something in the works.
All right, okay. If I could say one thing, bro, I would just say pop out more, man. You be incognito for real, looking around. I see people around the corner, man. Pop out, man.
For sure.
You got everything that you need, bro. All right, so that about wraps up this segment of Bottom of the Bed. You know your social, so they'll know where to find you at.
Yeah, it's Tummy Hilfiger on Instagram. If you go to that, then you'll be able to go to my link tree. You'll have the access to the YouTube, the Spotify, the Apple Music, everything related to Tum under the sun. You feel me?
Okay? And y'all make sure y'all don't mess with that album. Like I said, bro, this guy makes music that I listen to often, so it's not like I'm just pulling his leg or I just picked him out the damn litter and the hat. I appreciate you for showing up, having this
Thank
great
you.
setting for us, man.
Appreciate you.
So our next interview,
Hell yeah.
be cool, bro.
Back in front of the camera.